Okay, so today's webinar is going to be covering, hit me in chat if you have a question. I'll try to address it. And I'll try to have an open Q&A at the end of each topic. And we may not, of course, we don't get your questions, but of course, with just the three of us, just us chickens today, I'm sure I'll be able to get to every question possible, provided I don't need a consultant engineer or something like that. All right, just to cover bases, our next webinar will be January 3rd. January 3rd, and it's supposed to be the 13th, but oh well. It's the 3rd and 10 a.m. Good, same thing. And I believe I'm going to be covering then at that point the brand new time card system. So we're hoping to have that pretty much wrapped up by January 3rd. But the holidays and a variety of other things in year end depends on how smooth this year end goes. If there's something we completely miss and we have to scramble to get done, then we're going to go. All right, so we're going to talk about currently what's been updated. If we come here and we hit our release notes, just to be aware, if you're using the time card system, we did find a bug where if you have more than 240 characters in the notes box, definitely it will look like it uploaded and saved it, but it doesn't. So it's imperative to make sure you keep your notes box, at least less than 240. We're also tracking another issue in the time card system that and we don't know how this one happens, but somehow the time card is saved with no template. So we don't know what kind of time card it is, and somehow it gets approved. So, but it seems to happen. We've had it happen at a couple of different locations. So if it does, let us know. The solution there, the problem with it is because it doesn't have a template, it doesn't even let the person who did the approval unapprove it. We just got approval from the IRS on our 2021 W-2 and W-3 tax forms, so you can print those on plain paper again. And remember, next year, if you have over 10 employees, you have to submit it electronically. So the plain paper is getting less and less needed. But we will still continue to do that as long as the IRS still continues to have that option available. We changed the positive pay selection list to filter out checks that were paid electronically. Positive pay being electronic is meaning it went through an ACH kind of a connection. And the new positive pay seemed to have included those checks, so we removed those. We added a benefit adder to the benefits tab in employee maintenance. Now, I don't think many of you are using the benefits tab. At least I know I don't think Frank or Andrew are using benefits yet. But it's just in addition to the benefit adder. And then we added, I don't know if either one of you two wanted the events field, but I was going to go over that real quick. Okay. We go over employee maintenance. We added the events. We added 2 more missed notes and a longevity date event for everybody to use. So you can specify those for employees, and you've got a few more dates to use. And of course, we changed the view current employee events. We included the new missed notes here and longevity date. There's been a lot of report changes. Frank, you've had us do a lot. I'm not going to cover all of those. And then on 11.5, we did another set of work. We did change the PREF TPS to match the titles on the IRS website to make it a little bit easier to match it up. I don't know if anybody's paid much attention to it. And we fixed the issue on the bank rec detail that was printing the blank page at the beginning. And let's see. Yeah, we had a bug in we got an update to our report runner and it put a trial watermark on everything. So we removed that. Let's see. The tax forms. I was going to cover the tax forms. So in payroll, when we create our W-2s, 2021, and we're just going to go ahead and pick a few people. And we want to print the copy A. You should have the 2021 copy A for everybody. Should be pretty smooth. Again, the big thing to check is make sure box 14 and box 12s are printing correctly. I think I have the box 12s on these guys, so let me see if I can find somebody who has something in a box 12. Here we go. Paul Reed. Box 12, got some money printed there. So just again, double check everything before you send them out to people. Hopefully by this time next year, most of the W-2s will be available in the time card kiosk for employees to just be able to print and view them from there. Then I just wanted to cover a couple things on year end that was been changed. It's had a few updates to it. The fixed asset calculation had a change that was dating certain calculations in the previous year. So for instance, if you had something that was disposed of last year and for some reason it didn't get any depreciation, the FA calc would go back all the way to last year and put an entry in, even though it crossed over a fiscal year end. So we've stopped it from doing that. So now we'll put it as the first day of the new year, just because if you need to change it, you can obviously go in there and change the date for it. But just one change that we did, a little change we fixed in that a couple months ago. Let's see, what else have we changed? The W-2 calc has gone through quite an extensive. The IRS currently has not released, or I haven't checked. I actually haven't checked this month, but the electronic file with the oh boy, what is it called now? Well, anyways, we haven't been able to get it because they haven't had the 2022 one yet. They've only, or 2021 one out there. They only have the 2020 for the upload yet. So as soon as that's available, I'll be testing our upload, and if there may be a change or two to the W-2 electronic file if need be. Other than that, I don't know what else we can talk about. We're going to be doing what's upcoming is we have a change to the hours per day. We have some calculation changes that are coming. For hours per day, we want to make it a little bit more flexible. So we're going to show a list of employees that you can check to make sure which ones you want. Then you can set up the filtering to do things. The only thing I was going to see is I wanted to cover today the filtering on records. I don't know how many of you have played with that filtering on the different maintenance forms, but that's going to be kind of one of the things I was going to cover later in today's webinar. Otherwise, I'm just looking for, do you guys have any questions about what I've covered so far? Yeah, what the filtering is. This will be interesting. If you guys haven't been using it, it is super powerful. Especially when you're trying to find something or you're trying to get a list of something. Okay, following on though, to continue on the webinar, the next part we're going to cover is the filtering on reports. So let's go to one that has a decent number on here. So if I go to customers and I go to, no, not customers, I go to payables, vendor maintenance. All right. So the trick in here is all of these have this little filter. And Frank and Andrea, have you ever really played with this little filter yet to see what's there? I wanted to cover it just so that it's on video at one point, and then we're making a video on talking about it explicitly. But let's say we have, we're looking for a specific vendor. Now you can always sort. Obviously, you can click on the title, you get the little arrow that is sorted one way, but you can also filter. And some hang on, I need to kind of split this up a little bit. So a little bit. There we go. Okay, so we can filter it. If we come in here, now we have the same two sorts. And all this does is just like you click the title in the filter, the two sorts. But the neat thing is you can there's two types of filters in each of the, depending on what the column is. Like if the column is a bunch of date and times, then the filter options change a little bit, but they kind of work the same. So we start with just what I call basic selection type search. So like if I come in here and I'm looking for everything that has the word South in it, for instance. All of these have Souths, but I only really wanted the city of South Haven, Eagle South, and Michigan South. And so I just get those three in the report. Now, the thing you probably didn't know was these buttons over here on the maintenance form, or the first, last, previous, next, work off of what's ever showing up in this list on the vendor list. So if I go first, I'm South Haven. If I go last, I am Michigan Southern. So, that can be helpful when you're trying to just go through and saying, hey, I'm looking for thing. And then the other thing about searches that's fun is I'm going to do something with where I'll go back to my South search. And I'm going to go ahead and select them all. So I have a few. So these are all the ones that have the word South in here. And then I'm looking for the ones that are in Michigan only. So then I can go to state and put a filter in here and say, I just want the ones that are in Michigan only. Now this list here, just to kind of, carry it, is always the unique items that are in whatever column you're in. So it's going to show, like I said, I'm just looking for everything in Michigan. So I just see just what's in Michigan with the word South. And if I want to go further, I notice that I have some inactives in here. I can say I just want the actives. There, now I got just the list I'm looking for. So the filtering can be very helpful because it is something that, each field can give you a different, idea for it. Now there's another type of filtering in here as well that I wanted to cover. So there's a button that says clear filter that will clear the filter for the column. And you notice there's a little dot that can tell you that a filter has been turned on for it. Okay, so now we're back to the big list. The other thing that some people didn't know is, and just to cover it, is you can actually move a column. So I can put the zip, if I want the zip for whatever reason in there, I can move that. But back to filtering. If I go to filtering, I can also go into what's called a text filter. Now here you get a little bit more logic between it. So I want to look for everything that begins with, so you have what's called comparative rules in a text filter. And we have, doesn't equal, begins with, does not begins with, ends with, does not end with, contains, does not contain, empty, not empty, null, and not null. So I want to say everything that begins with the letter A And this button over here makes it case sensitive. So right now it is not case sensitive, but if I click it, it'll just be anything that begins with a lowercase letter a. So if I do that and I click OK, there's nothing because everything starts with an uppercase, in our current list. So if I take that off, now I just get all the A's. Everything starts with an A. But you can go a little further. You can put an and, or you can use an and or an or. And I want to say, and it contains the word. Oh, let's try something here that we have. Starts with an A and contains the word. Contains Ford, because we should get the advanced van. Contains van. Did I get that right? Or was that an or? Oh, not or, it's an and. So I want it begins with an A and contains the word, van, and I just get the advanced. Because that's the only thing that contains the word, van in there. Or I could say does not contain van, and I'll get all of them but the advanced. And of course, even though you have that kind of filter on that field, you can still say, I only want to see my active. So filtering is very powerful. There's a lot you can do with it. It's just a matter of if you need to get to a list, it's, usually you'd want to use it when you need to make like a global change to like all of them. Federal ID is a good one. So let me clear the filters on this. So let's say I just want to go through and find, see all of my vendors. Well, actually, I'll leave this one on. I want to see all my active vendors that have a federal ID. So I can come to the filter and say, I want everything that's not empty. And now, voila, I have all my federal IDs. So these are all of the, vendors that have a federal ID specified. And then you could just kind of go through, you can say first, and you can come over to taxes. And you can just double check to see which boxes, check for them. Don't know why he doesn't have any, but this isn't my data, so. But you can kind of get the idea on how filters work. So is there any questions about filtering? Okay, well, I am gonna call it a webinar then. If you guys have any questions, you always know where we are. We usually always answer the phone. Again, will be January 3rd. Oh yeah, and U of M, you go blue. Conference champs this year. Who would have thought?
You are now working smarter with ProFund Accounting. Thanks for watching. Be sure to like this video and subscribe to our channel for more content like this.